You can't ever, especially in this industry, you can't stop learning. There's always a new technique coming out. There's always new cool equipment coming out. There's, there's recipes that, like I said, date back to 1850s that I'm, just now seeing. And so there's always something. I've got this huge book of just histories on certain foods, and like the cured egg yolk that I talked about earlier, it dates back to like the 5th century Chinese that did it back then. And we were also talking about how like the macaroons, for instance, they're so finicky that if you mess any little thing up, something's gonna go wrong. And I'm like, I have all this awesome equipment now, how did they do it back then? They don't have all the tools that I have now, and I'm messing it up. So, it kind of blows your mind to think of how they used to do it back whenever they didn't have all these, special ovens or special equipment to whip your egg whites, to make your meringue stiff peaks. They were just sitting back there with their, probably one huge arm because they were having to whip these egg whites forever. So, you just always have to definitely keep reading, keep researching, because there's always some little thing that you might see that you can tweak. Oh, I'll put this on this recipe, and it totally takes it up another notch. So I'm just gonna I've got equal parts sugar and salt. So 1 pound sugar, 1 pound salt. I'm just gonna mix these through. You can do it with a food processor if you want it to be a little finer. It does kind of have a more nuttier flavor to it. And these are going to be, you can slice them, you can grate them, which is the technique that I'm going to use for my macaroon dish. And then we're just going to lay some on a sheet pan. You just do about half on your sheet pan, because then you're going to need the other half to top your eggs. In some of these that I've read, people use the actual egg shell to make little divots basically for where they're gonna set. If you do that, just make sure you rinse your eggs, because you never know what's on your shell, and that's kind of gross. So we did rinse these already, but you just kind of want to go through, and this is enough for a dozen eggs. So we're just gonna go through, kind of make a little divot. You don't want to do it too deep to where the bottom of your pan's showing. And if you do, you can just go back through and add a little salt, because I've done it a couple times. We're going to separate our whites from our yolks. And you want to get as much white out as you can. If not, it binds with your sugar and salt mixture, and it just makes it harder to get off once they've dried. So then you just place it in your little divot. So we've got these laid out in our little divots. Now all you got to do is cover them with the rest of your sugar and salt mixture. And you want them to be completely covered. So the reason for curing, all we're doing is pulling out all the moisture out of the egg, so that way none of your bad bacteria can grow, and so you don't get anybody sick. So that's the whole reason for this. And then plus it makes a whole different texture. Like I said, those don't even look the same at all once they're done. So if you want to play a trick on somebody and tell them it's cheese, you can. And again, there's just a lot of ways that you can utilize these in different dishes. You can slice them, put them in salads. On top of pasta would be a great topper. I know a lot of people substitute it for Parmesan, so you can use it that way. Okay, so once they're nice and covered, you just got to carefully wrap them so you don't puncture any of the yolks. And just put them in, obviously if you're not doing this big, you can just do it on a plate for, at home use. Wrap it in plastic, which is what we're gonna do next. And then they will need to set for 7 days in refrigeration basically. And all that salt will pull out all of the moisture, like I said. And then once they come out, or after the 7-day period, you'll take them out, you'll rinse them off really well, and we'll pat them dry. And then everything that I had seen people turn their oven down to about 200 and they dry them out that way. Since we don't have an extra oven that wasn't being used whenever I made these, I just set them out on parchment paper, just room temperature basically, and let them air dry for about an hour, and they came out perfect.